Wednesday night's homework, last night in Module 3 review. This one asked, are the following expressions greater than or less than 1? It's just the following expression, I guess. 5/8 plus 3/5. So we think of these in terms of our benchmark fraction, kind of our one that helps us to see if it's above or below 1/2. So let's think, 5/8, is that greater than or less than 1/2? Well, 4/8 would be 1/2, so it's greater than. Let's think about this one, 3/5. Well, 1/2 of 5 is 2.5, so this is also greater than 1/2. So if I have more than 1/2 and more than 1/2, it's going to equal greater than 1. Now, is the following expression greater than or less than 1/2 this time? All right, well, let's look. 1 1/7 minus 5/6. Well, let's think about it. This is almost 1, our benchmark fraction of a whole. And so if we took 1 away from this, I'd only have a very little bit left, and 1/7 is also very small. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be less than 1/2, but we could always check our work. Let's make 7 and 6 40-seconds. So 1 and 6 40-seconds minus 35 40-seconds. So let's make this into improper. So that'd be 48 40-seconds minus 35 40-seconds. So I'm going to do that math. 48 minus 35 is 13 40-seconds, and 1/2 of 42 would be 21, so it's definitely less than 1/2. So we didn't need to solve it to know that, but that was just to show us for sure. Now we're going to use greater than, less than, or equal to make the following statements true. It's actually just a statement. B looks like it's part of this, and that's confusing, so that's why I told us in class that this one is just going to be separate. So 4.5 plus 1 4/9. So 4 plus 1 we know is 5, so I would have 5.5 plus 4/9, and I want to know if that's greater than or less than this. So this is greater than 1/2, so this is like 5.5, but if I'm adding 5.5 plus a whole nother almost half, it's probably going to be greater. Now, you can check that work for sure if you'd like. B, we just need to fill this in. If I have 17/3 plus something plus 5/2, it's going to give me 10 4/5. This is my whole, and these are the parts. So if I add together these two parts and take it away from the whole, I'll know what my last part is. So 17/3 plus 5/2. Well, let's make those into 6. 3 times 2 is 6, so 17 times 2 is 34. 2 times 3 is 6, so 5 times 3 is 15. So let's add those together, and I get 49/6. And I can take 6 times 8 out, which is 48, so I'd have 1/6 left over. So now I know that these two are 8 and a 6, so I need to take it away from my whole. So 10 4/5 minus 8 and 1/6. 10 minus 8 is 2, so I have 2 4/5 minus a 6. If it helps to cross out what you've already done, that can be helpful. Once again, I can't do these, so we could make it into 30ths. So 5 times 6, so 4 times 6. 6 times 5, so 1 times 5. 24 minus 5 is 19, so it'll be 2 and 19 30ths. Last one. A catering company needs 8 7/75 pounds of shrimp for a party. They buy 3 2/3 pounds of jumbo shrimp, 2 5/8 pounds of medium shrimp, and some mini shrimp. This is where the mini shrimp go. And we know that that all equaled 8.75. And we want to know how many pounds of mini shrimp. So we've got to add up the parts to get the whole. So just like the first one, we'll add up the parts we have and subtract it from our whole. So let's add, oops, I wrote that down wrong. It's 3 2/3. So let's add 3 2/3 plus 2 5/8. 3 plus 2 is 5. Now I have to add 2/3 and 5/8. I'm going to make those into 24ths. So 3 times 8 is 24. So 2 times 8 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24, so 5 times 3 is 15. Now we can add straight across. 15 plus 15 I know is 30, and I just would have one more, so that's 31 over 24. Okay, so these two together equal 5 and 31/24. So now I have to take that away from this to get my other part. But I'd like to make this a fraction because I'm just working with fractions. I know that this is 75 hundredths, which is 75 over 100. I also know I can reduce that. Think of this as quarters. How many quarters is 75 cents? Well, it's 3 out of 4. If I had one more quarter, I'd have $1. So I'm going to make this 8 3/4 minus 5 and 31/24. Now it's a little bit easier to work with. 8 minus 5 is 3. So I have 3 3/4 minus 31/24. Let's make them both into 24 since 4 can go into 24. So 6 times 4 is 24. So 6 times 3 is 18. And this is already as 31st. Okay, problem, I can't take away 31 out of 18. So what can I do? Well, I have a whole, 3 holes here. I could take one of them and turn it into 24ths. So this drops down to 2, and my 24/24ths get added to this. So 24 plus 18 is 44. So I'll have 2 and 44/24. These two numbers are equal. I just split it up. Minus 31/24. So now I can take away my 31, and I get 2 and 13/24. And I can't reduce that. 13's prime number. So I'll write my sentence. They buy 2 and 13/24 pounds of mini shrimp. There you go.